Hi, hello, how are you? I hope you're having a wonderful day. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Maddie Bloom and I'm a multi-genre author. I currently have one book out, The Scroll Fate, and on my channel, I primarily post vlogs and writing craft videos, reading updates, random thoughts I have, things like that. And if you are not new here, thank you so much for coming back. It means the world to me. I have not vlogged in so long. I don't even know. The last time I uploaded a vlog has been months. I have filmed like so many vlogs in between then, and they're just sitting in my CapCut folder. And I don't want to just let things sit. I want to vlog, especially because I have recently made some big decisions for where I want to take my career. So I want to get back into vlogging to hold myself accountable and continue to share my writing journey and continue to grow. I started my channel doing vlogs exclusively, so I want to get back to that. I really miss that routine of vlogging, but yeah, I've made some pretty big decisions, including shelving a work in progress that I've been spending the last 9 months on. So it was quite difficult to make that decision because I feel like I'm post-publishing 9 months, and now I have nothing to show for what I've been doing for the past almost year. And yeah, so that was a hard decision, but I have to remember that I grew a lot as an author, and now I feel like I have a path where I want to go with books, with the Scroll Fate sequels and things like that. And I'll talk more about that later in the vlog instead of just yapping all at once in the beginning, and then the rest is just B-roll or whatever. But today's agenda is pretty lighthearted, more adventurous, because it is Saturday. So we're going to go to the Larimer County Farmers Market up in Fort Collins. And then we're going to hang out in Fort Collins and then get some lunch at Raising Cane's. And then I have 2 or 4, I guess. I'm working on a short story right now. So I want to do at least, it's a weekend, let's say 4 sprints. So hopefully I can get this really quick early draft done, and then I can start editing it because I do have a deadline for the short story. So that's our agenda today. As you can see, I am filming this intro after I've done some of the things. I'm so red because I forgot to put on sunscreen, except for my face. I did put on sunscreen, so I'm annoyed at myself for that, but that's okay. Let's get started with our day. You can see all the outside and sun I was soaking up and how I got so sunburnt. But yeah, I'm excited to be vlogging again, and I can't wait to share more about writing updates and what projects and publishing schedules will look like going forward for the rest of this year and then next year as well. So I'll see you guys soon. Hello. It is later Saturday evening. It's 7:30 and I feel slightly more rested. Today has been a lot of fun, very physically exhausting, but that's okay. It is a beautiful evening, and so I'm going to get some writing done, and I wanted to yap a little bit because I looked at my YouTube content and I realized I've not uploaded a vlog since January of this year, like a New Year's resolutions video. So it's basically been the whole year. So if you are new here, I released my first book in September of 2024. And after that, I had decided that I wanted to release a science fantasy next, just so I could have some separation and some variety when selling books. And I had been in the This Cruel Fate world for so long, so I just needed a break. And so basically from September on, I had only been focusing on Project ACOS. For the last 9 months, it had been my only project, and I wanted to have a publishing timeline of spring 2026, with This Cruel Fate sequel going out in fall of 2026. I got a discovery draft done of Project ACOS, and since then, I mean, even before getting that discovery draft done, I was tearing up the first like 10,000 words over and over again. And then I got the discovery draft done, but it was really rough. And I had a lot of plot holes, and yeah, it was rough. And since then, I've been trying to rework it, and again, just like even within the first 15,000 words, just over and over again, rewriting. It's not working. And I know I'm going to have second act and second act and third act problems, and I don't want to keep pushing. And with that not being able to work, I was just feeling a lot of stress about getting this book to work, and also figuring out budget for self-publishing that would have put me at slated for 5 books, with two series between them. Like one's a trilogy, one a duology, if that makes sense. And I recently came to the conclusion, after some self-reflection, that Project ACOS just right now is not working. I love the story, I love the characters, I love the world, but it is just not working. So it was hard to make that decision because I feel like I'm 9 months post-publishing my debut, and I have now nothing to show for it, which I know isn't true. Like I had grown so much as a writer, and I can tell, like, even from This Cruel Fate to what I was trying to accomplish with Project ACOS and the drafting, I felt a lot stronger in some ways, but it's hard not being any closer to like publishing anything. So I did some thinking to figure out, well, what do I want to do now? Because I love Notion to keep track of just like everything. And I have a table with like story ideas and different things like that, and what I want to do with them. I've been thinking a lot about like what I want my career as an author to look like, and being traditionally published was always the main goal. The reason I pivoted with This Cruel Fate and went with self-publishing was because I knew it wasn't exactly the most like commercially viable. My editor had told me like it would be a harder uphill battle to query it. So I made the decision to self-publish, and I don't regret it because I was able to do events. I've met so many amazing people and made connections and friendships that I am so happy to have. So I don't regret it, but perhaps I would have done things differently. I think I was so eager to publish and have my debut novel out that then I wasn't really thinking of after and all the books and everything that would need to be after. So where does that leave me today? I am working on a short story right now, just to cleanse my palate, reset, finish something, and have like something done and complete and fully edited and everything in a shorter amount of time. And then I'm going to spend the rest of this year working on a lit fic novel to query. And then I can spend the time after that working on this Cruel Fate sequel and just continuing to self-publish just the one series. That feels less stressful to me, and I am still hopeful that TCF 2 can come out fall of 2026 while I'm in the midst of querying a literary fiction novel. And that feels like a step in the right direction. I would not mind being a hybrid for the rest of my career with more lit ficky pieces in the trad world and then keeping more genre fiction in the self-publishing space. But yeah, that feels good to me and in alignment with my goals and the work I want to put out into the world. And so that's also why I want to get back into vlogging and be accountable and do it regularly, since this is such a huge switch from what I've been working on, and sharing the querying journey to like still have hopefully some amount of fun with it, even though the rejections are most definitely going to hurt and it's probably going to get hard at times. But if I am documenting the journey, hopefully it'll be easier and then I can see how far I've come and yeah, just go from there. So that's where I've been career-wise. So I'm very sad about shelving something and just feeling that like there's nothing tangible to show for this amount of time, and it makes me feel like I'm behind. But I'm trying to not let those thoughts win and just remind myself that like I was practicing my craft and getting stronger, and that will help both with a piece to query and with TCF sequel, and fingers crossed TCF sequel will just like blow this Cruel Fate out of the water. I always want my previous book to be worse than my next book. So I just have to remind myself that it's just, figuring things out, and I'm allowed to take that time to put out the best work that I can and just stay in alignment with my goals. Which brings us to some sprints tonight. Earlier, I said I wanted to do 4 sprints. I don't know, that girl was so much more optimistic in terms of brain power and awakeness than this person, so we'll see. I would like to at least get my rough draft done since it is a short story. I didn't outline. Well, I'm more of a pantser anyways, but I'm trying to shift more into outlining things fully because I think it does make the first draft go by smoother and with a lot less pain and frustration of trying to make second and third act work when it's often in the first act that the problem is. I know the story beats for this short story, so I would like to at least get like my rough guesstimation done, and then I can see what the word count is, give it a read through, see where we need to buff things up, trim off some fat, and I have not written a short story since I was in college. So it is, I've been saying so a lot and I can hear it when I'm talking and it's kind of driving me crazy. However, it is interesting see, that just doesn't make sense. Since going back to a short story, it is difficult because with a novel, I feel like there is so much more space to expand and get interiority of character and build things. And the word count limit for the short story I'm working on is 12,000 words. So a lot more condensed, and it is forcing me to think like, where do I draw the line between showing versus telling? What can I do here? But I still want to get this part of the story in, which is why right now I'm not focusing on word count at all. In fact, I'm using my free write to draft it, which has been really helpful because I don't need to focus on the word count right now. I just need to focus on the story. And then once it's done, I can put it into Scrivener and start going from there. But yeah, let's start with 1 sprint at least, and we'll just go from there and see how things go and just take the evening as it comes. Happy Monday. I know I said I was going to do a weekend vlog, but it's kind of turning into a weekend and also plus Monday vlog, which is okay, just because I didn't feel like talking to the camera yesterday, but I want to get back into the habit of vlogging and following through and holding myself accountable. So we're going to finish up the vlog today. Yesterday, I was actually fairly productive. I dropped some things off at Goodwill and did some errands, and then I watched Maurice, and I thought it was really excellent. The thing I love about older films is how real the sets feel, and it doesn't feel like it's a set. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like with the reliance sometimes on CGI or like that, I don't even know what they call it, where they're acting like in a blank room and then they like, or they project the CGI on like in the background. I forget what it's called, but it just has this like, everything always just like feels so like, it's just like, I don't know, it just feels not real or magical, I guess. Like, I know I'm watching a movie, but there's like something that feels real. I don't know if you understand, you'll have to let me know. But I think also like an easier way to explain it is like sometimes the costumes are just so perfect and you don't believe that it's like what someone is wearing, like that they would wear in their day-to-day life. It's just like they're putting on a costume to shoot these scenes. To quote, yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to do like the antithetical quote for Harry Styles during the Don't Worry Darling thing where he's like, it feels like a movie. Like, I hate that feeling actually. I hate when it feels like a movie and I want it to feel like a snapshot into this moment in time. But Maurice, yes, really good. It hit those like dark academia vibes because it follows two students at Cambridge and they meet, realize they have feelings for each other, but this is just like pre-World War One. And at that time, being gay was illegal in England. So not even just the social stigma. It was a really good movie and it had Hugh Grant in it, so that was fun. But I did that and I wrote a lot of my short story that I haven't shared too much about, so I'll give you like a quick rundown. It is a fantasy, but it's in the past fantasy. I haven't written like traditional past fantasy since high school. So it's been fun kind of getting back to my roots since fantasy, like Lord of the Rings, was kind of what got me so into reading and writing in the first place. But yeah, so I'm working on a short story. I really wanted to practice more of an atmospheric style of writing, but it is a little difficult with knowing in the back of my mind that I have a pretty tight word count. I actually have no idea what my current word count is at because I've just been drafting and I haven't even checked like the post box that connects to Freewrite. But I think I'm going to finish it today because I'm going to join MJ James's live writing sprints that they host on Mondays and Fridays. They're a fellow author tuber, and we have met at Read Between the Stars last year, and then we are in the Rocky Mountain Writers Guild Discord. And if you're a Colorado author and would like to join a Discord with other Colorado authors, pretty much spread like across the state, I will put that link down in my description as well. I also have, now that we're talking about links, if you want to sign up for my newsletter, which is just on Substack, so you can see all the past ones as well, that will be down below as well as like personal Discord if you would like to join. I'd set up like a little town because why not? It's cute and fun. Anyways, it is noon, so I'm taking a break from work and I'm going to eat some lunch. I don't know if I'm going to read or watch YouTube. We will figure it out. Oh, I did read a lot yesterday. I'm so close. Well, I'm just past the halfway point in The Endless Knot by Stephen Lawhead, or Lawhead. I don't know why I want to say heed. This is the Song of Albion book 3, and this is like a more classic fantasy that is heavily based on Celtic mythology. The books are fine. I mean, they're good. It's just there's not a lot of women or like diverse. It is interesting seeing how the writing landscape has changed. So these copies belonged to my mom, and she really loved the series and she read them, I think, like before I was born. So I think I've enjoyed like connecting to something that was so important to her more than I'm enjoying the actual books because it is very mm, like boy fan fiction, I feel, like to be that ideal man. And which isn't bad. I mean, everyone needs that, I suppose. But it also is interesting because the way that this book engages with like monarchy and power. My battery's about to die, so I have to finish. Okay, I'm gonna hurry. The way that this book deals with monarchy and power, it is very much like it's very Platonic. Like, and Albion is fulfilling these like Platonic forms of like power. They're like power and kingship goes to those with an innate goodness and like someone who had tried to like the bad guy of the previous books and of this one is like corrupted, and so that there is like an objective good in this world. And it is interesting because I think like I don't necessarily disagree. Like, I think there are people who are good people and we should it's interesting. Like, I don't think I quite know. I don't necessarily disagree, but I don't agree. People who are good would be the best candidates for being in positions of power, right? But I think that the position of power is corruptive by nature unless you are in a small group. Like they like have chieftains and whatnot. So it's interesting, and I think it would be easier to like be a king of like a few hundred people than like millions of people, and that also changes the nature of what power means. But yeah, it is interesting. It's very it has that very classic feel, which is so much different from the fantasy that is being released today. And that's why I kind of love reading a variety of time periods, because you learn so much, not only about what the genre used to be or what the genre is, which I think is so important as a writer, but you learn about the time and the people that were like how the zeitgeist of what life was like during these times. So I like overall, I'm enjoying these books, but there is a lot to think about in terms of like that less, in my opinion, it's a little less nuanced look of like power and those dynamics that people have within community and society and culture at large. But if you are into Celtic mythology and you want just like a actiony, fighty fantasy, and I think the world building is very good. Yeah, The Song of Albion, I would recommend it to you. After this, I'm going to start on a literary fiction kick. I have a few that I have, and then I have a list of books that they don't have at my library, so I'm gonna have to find those. But yeah, I think I'm gonna switch to literary fiction for a little bit just to prepare for my next work in progress after I finish this short story. But I will talk more about that right later. I'm gonna go get lunch and charge my camera battery. So I will talk to you guys later. Hello, it's a little bit past 6:30, so I'm going to jump on to MJ Sprints and hopefully get my short story finished. Hello. sprints are over. I finished my short story and I pulled it up into Google Docs, and I really thought, I was like, oh my gosh, I just keep writing so much that I'm going to have to like trim some down and figure this out. It was just under 6,000 words, so I still have 6,000 words to play with. I think I'll definitely end up using it because there are parts that are fairly bare bones and other parts that I had well imagined in my head that are a lot more detailed. So that is my plan for the rest of the week, is going to be reading through, double checking the pacing because that's definitely going to be off, clarifying some character motivations and actions, and bumping up character relationships as well. This first draft was definitely me just figuring out the story and telling myself the story. So now it's time to make it work. And I want to send this off to beta readers by the end of January week 2. But anyways, thank you so much for joining me on this little weekend adventure. If you enjoyed this video, let me know down in the comments or give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I have all of my links to other important things like my newsletter, which I work really hard on, so you should definitely join, and my debut novel, This Cruel Fate, and Discord channels. I think that's it. I'll link MJ's channel down below too as well. Yeah, that's what I've got. Thank you. Bye.